So my next one that I did like, probably going to end with, is going to be the Society of the Snow. And yes, it's just called Society of Snow. This actually came out 2023. It's a film. I'm trying to think what country originated in, but it did come out in 2023, and Netflix picked it up and they released it, I believe, last week, last Friday, I believe. So, let me see. It's directed by J.A. Boyana. All I do know is that I don't know if this film was made in Uruguay, but it's not giving me the actual country of origin. But in 1972, an Uruguayan flight crashes in the remote heart of the Andes, forcing survivors to become each other's best hope. And this is based on true events, is a real story. They made this film in, I think, 96. And it was called Alive. So they already did a version of this. Let's make sure I got that year right. 93 actually. So 93 was when Alive came out. And I was actually looking for that. It's not streaming anywhere, so I'm gonna have to buy it. And I don't want to. I'm trying to save some money recently. But it'll probably pop up on streaming, especially usually happens when a movie like this starts getting a buzz and they'll start digging up the other counterparts or other versions, man. I've been seeing that a lot lately with these streaming platforms and stuff in general. It's like all of a sudden after that Cat Williams interview, now Netflix wants to show you the Cat Williams specials that they have available to watch. But I thought this film was really good, man. I will give it props also for, I feel like they did a lot more character development in this film, man, for some reason. And as far as the cast goes, man, these are mostly actors that I don't know. Like, I didn't recognize a single face, but they are really good, man. Enzo Vogranichik, Matias Racaut, Carlos Paez Rodriguez, Agustin Pardella, and Felipe Gonzalez. So the interesting thing about this crash, that it was more than just this Uruguayan rugby team. So it was just a bunch of regular people in there too. So the survivors are kind of a mixed bunch, but for somehow maybe just the seating arrangements or whatever, most of the rugby team landed intact. Matter of fact, I think there was like 40 some people that were still alive when this plane crashed. You know, basically it was trying to cut through the Andes. And the plane actually, they hit some turbulence, and just as they were cresting a peak, the back of the plane clipped the mountain and was split in half, and the front part of the plane actually slid down to the mountain, coming to its final resting place, and the back half slid down the other half of the mountain. And it's crazy because some of the passengers that were in the back half, they gone, or people that were in the front half, some of their seats broke away right on that edge and they got sucked out, you know. So this is crazy, man. And on top of that, you're on the top of the Andes, and in there, I think their winter time they were right in the middle of it. For some reason, their seasons are the reverse of ours. So their summer is our winter, and vice versa. So
far below the equator and all.
Yeah. And when they landed, they basically, the weather was too bad for rescue parties to really, keep searching for them after a certain time. They landed at a really bad time. I think they initially noticed the plane was missing, and they sent planes out looking for them. But the problem is, too, their plane was partially buried where they landed. There's a lot of powdery snow. I think they said when they first got out of the plane, the snow was waist deep. And so anything you're looking at from up there, the height that these planes got to fly, it's just looking like more rocks. Or if you did see the wreckage, you know what I'm saying? So basically, come to find out later, they had to survive 2 months before conditions would improve for people to start looking for them, man. And I believe they actually made it like 40 some days, man. And crazy thing is, man, when they first get there, the first thing they did was, the first night was brutal, they said, because, these guys were flying to somewhere warm, so no one's got winter clothes or anything. Some people died overnight just from exposure and injuries, man. Man, this thing was brutal, dude. When you look at the real accounts of that stuff, but then the biggest problem was food. So you've got 40 some people, and all you've got is a couple candy bars, some crackers, a couple cans of canned oysters, like just nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you got frozen water. Ice to drink is water, so that becomes an issue because drinking, even if you're eating melted snow, you're ingesting it in like ice cold temperatures. That's causing your body to burn more calories. It was just nasty, man. I went back and listened to a podcast about it, and it's brutal, man.
How many people live through all that?
I believe it might have been 15 or 16. Yeah. I believe, dude, it's something like that. But I will say this, man, the film, getting around to what eventually happened, and it happened pretty fast, probably within a week that they started eating people. They started eating the corpses of the other people that had died, because there was a lot of bodies around them, man. Even the people on the plane, because another thing that happened too is during the crash, the rows of the seating separated. So there were people that got crushed as that weight of this row seat smashed, toward the front of the plane. And they talk about there was a woman who was pretty much, her knees were pretty much up where her ears were, bro. And she was stuck like that. They couldn't get her out. And she's still alive, screaming for 3 days, man. And it's just, it was brutal, man. So, but like I said, man, so she wasn't the only one that died. There's others that died during that, the crunching and, and it led to the cannibalism. This film doesn't really focus on that. It is brought up. It is, parts of it are shown, but it's actually more, like I said, has more character development than that initial film. I mean, you don't have your main actor refusing to shave, or not refusing to grow his facial hair out. So you're wondering how the hell Ethan Hawke is lasting 40 days with a clean shaven face. So these guys were, I think this thing does a better job of humanizing them and making you feel what it was like to be in that situation, get in their heads a little more without the sensationalism of the cannibalism, like soaking up the story. And it's cool. Eventually, they realized we're just really messed up at this point. They actually ended up going to the other plane to finding the radio, but they couldn't get it to work. And then they realized dude, we're down to nothing. Like bones are picked clean. It's nothing. So we the only choice was they figured out, I think 3 of them left. In the film, it only shows 2, but in the real story, 3 of them left to walk down a mountain. And eventually, here's the crazy part, dude. They were only 18 miles from a hotel.
Really?
Yeah. But the problem is they wouldn't have been able to get to that hotel in the route that they would have had to go to get to it. So eventually they hiked down the other side of the mountain. They traveled 38 miles, dude, and ended up at a stream that they couldn't really cross, I believe. Something like that happened, man. But they saw a man across the river on a horse. And they're so weak they couldn't even really yell at him. I think actually he might have spoken another language or something like that. They throw a rock with paper, a message to the guys yo, we were in the plane that's missing. Because this is the crazy part too, man. This how, man, I'm telling you, man, let's find an account of the story. It's just crazy. They actually had a portable battery operated radio, and they could hear people talking about looking for them. That's crazy. And what do you do when you hear on the radio that rescue operations have been ceased? What do you do?
Anything either,
they have nothing. None of that. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, man. And like I said, man, there's one point where they do walk up to one of the mountains because they're trying to go get to the other piece of the plane to see what's in there, see if they can salvage. And they get to the top of the mountain, they look down, and it's they realize no one can see us. If you fly over, we can't even see where the plane was that we just came from. All we saw is our tracks going down the mountain, and they disappear eventually. But Yeah, so man, this thing is crazy, man. This is one of the wildest survival stories I've ever heard, man. And it continues to fascinate me. And this film does, like I said, man, this film was great, man. It really knocked it out the park. Just portraying this thing, man. And I don't know, man. I don't know what this director's done. Kind of interesting to see what he gets into next. J.A. Boyana. So he did The Orphanage in 2007. Oh, he did The Impossible in 2012. That's another great survival story. And I think he did Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and another film, A Monster Calls.
Monster Calls is good.
Marrowbone.
And The Orphanage is good.
He also did a film, interestingly enough, called Spanish Movie. I guess that's supposed to be like Scary Movie. That's wild. That's funny. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking this out, man. It's running on Netflix.
Oh, Impossible is a tsunami film. Okay,
yeah, the tsunami, the Christmas tsunami. Yeah, that's a good film, man.
No, it's
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts. Yeah, that was a good film, man.
I hadn't seen that film in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it makes sense that this thing came out as good as it did, because
he's kind of a low key director, because
but he's good.
I've seen The Orphanage, which I like a lot. Actually, I own a copy of it. Where was Monster Calls? That Jurassic World kind of good.
Yeah, he's really good, man. Like there's like I said, man, it's a mostly bare bones production, but it does what it has to do, man, and does a really great job of it. And like I said, look into the bigger story, man, if you get a chance. It blows my mind. Like,
I was a kid last time I saw it live, and that's one that I personally don't own. But I think that film came out.
Yeah, and also a lot of those survivors, man, they're running around, and a lot of them have done interviews, and or one of them's like a motivational speaker, like never give up. But it got grim, man. Like they're talking about just how imagine this though too, man. These guys are weak, they're distraught, and say you're that helicopter crew flying in to pick these guys up, and they're probably looking and smelling like shit, and you just glance out the corner of your eye, you just see like a spinal column just picked clean.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. The details of this stuff, man, is wild, man. I think one of the guys, they said, because they said the news and the reporters were kind of beating around the bush about it, and it's like, yo, so what did you guys eat? And one of them just came out and was like, human flesh. And I'm like, yeah, boom. But dang, it's a crazy story, man. Definitely a good film, though. I'll definitely recommend it. It's probably one of the best first good ones that I've seen of this side of the year.